Hi, my name is Kasturbai Azcona. I'm here to guide you through a 30-minute class, hips and shoulders. We're pretty much just focusing on the flexibility, strength, and mobility of your hips and your shoulders. You're gonna need 2 yoga blocks and a yoga strap. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can use some thick, light books, something of that sort, something to lean on. And if you don't have a yoga strap, you can use a towel, a belt, a scarf, any piece of clothing works. We're gonna start on our hands and knees, hips and shoulders. Let's do it, yeah? Let's get this party started. 30 minutes. So we're gonna start in Baramanasana pose, or cuatro puntos de apoyo. No, we're in English. Okay, so we're pressing down through all 4 corners of our hands. Shoulders are over wrists and hips are over knees. Nice long spine. Look between the hands. Nice strong foundation. Beautiful. Inhale, look up. We're going into cow pose. Flick the tailbone to the sky. Hug the elbows in. Lengthen the belly. Reach your chin to the sky and then sustain. 3, 2, relax the forehead. 1, exhale, press the ground away. Round your spine, root the tailbone down and tuck your chin. Mad cat. 3, Marijari Asana. 2, 1. Now go back and forth between the 2. Inhale for cow pose and exhale for cat. Really what you want to do is just create little waves with your spine. If you want to shift your weight forward and backwards, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just doing 2 opposite motions with the pelvis. Rooting the tailbone down and flicking it to the sky. 2 opposite motions of the shoulder blades, bringing them together and then separating them. You can activate your glutes in cat pose. Following your breath. 3 more sets of each. Beautiful. Until eventually, we're going to end back where we started in tabletop. Beautiful. I'm going to stop saying beautiful now. Inhale, lift your right leg up like you're a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. You can flex the foot or point it, it doesn't matter. We're doing little pulses with the knee towards the sky. We're trying not to open the hips up here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're not done. Lean into the right palm, lift the left arm up. The same way, like a cactus. So both left arm and right leg are bent. Now do little pulses with both the arm and the leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. And other side. Inhale, lean into the right knee, lift the left leg up. 90 degrees with the leg. Little pulses. Your foot can be flexed or pointed, doesn't matter. Activating that left glute, keeping those hips somewhat squared for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, just kidding. Lean into the left palm, reach and extend the right arm like a cactus. So you're kind of reaching it outwards. Little pulses with both the arm and the leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoo! Slowly exhale. Sit your sit bones down. Reach your hands in front of you. Child's pose for a moment. Forehead to the mat. Your legs are either together or apart. Doesn't matter. Balasana pose. Imagine your armpits are magnetizing towards the mat. On the next inhale, rise back to tabletop position. Grab onto your blocks. And we are going to start getting into the hips a little more. Step your right foot forward, going into a low lunge. The left knee is down. Nice. Beautiful. We stay here, opening the left hip flexor here. Remembering that when we stretch the hips, we tend to clench our jaw. So maybe pressing the fingertips into the jawbone, or not the jawbone, the muscles in the jaw, to remind it to relax. All right, grab onto your blocks on the high setting. Flip your back toes under and lift your back knee up, arriving into a high lunge. Torso is trying to stay over the hips, so sometimes I need to lift up a little more to activate the left glute. And there, that makes me fix my pelvis a little. Look forward and relax the forehead for 3, 2, 1. Hands on blocks. Extend the front leg, lift the hips up, arriving into a triangle variation. Look forward, maybe even look up. Or if you want to round your spine, bring your forehead towards your knee. Arrive back into a high lunge. Exhale, triangle. So really whatever you want to do here. I invite you to do little waves. So inhale, low lunge, look up. Exhale, triangle pose. Forehead to the shin. That's just what I'm doing. A little dynamic movement, following the breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back in a low lunge. Lovely. Half splits. So bring your knee is down, your back knee is down. Shift your hips back, arriving in Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. Whatever you want here. I like to drive my front heel down and maybe even bring it closer to me to really turn on the back of my front leg. Whatever your body needs today, tend to your needs. 3 more conscious breaths. Okay, before we go back into a low lunge, grab onto your blocks, bringing some strength into the hip, the right hip, doing a little hip plug. So grab onto the front blocks, round your upper spine to lift that front heel. Your foot can be pointed or flexed. You can lift and lower or sustain the lifted position for 5. Huge abdominal flexion. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the heel, reverse back into a low lunge. Step the foot back and reverse sides. So left leg is bent in front of you, the right leg is extended behind you. Really passive stretch, imagining we're creating space in the right hip. Sometimes I like to place my right palm on my right hip to remind myself that that's what we're opening up here. Okay, hands on blocks. Flip your back toes under to lift the back knee. Sustain in high lunge for a moment before we start to undulate between the triangle variation. So extend the front leg, hips go up and back. Staying here for a moment. And then back into the high lunge. So yeah. Maybe this side looks a little different and feels a little different. That's okay. Three more deep breaths here. Going slower than you like. Okay. Nice. Okay, next time you arrive in high lunge, drop the back knee and straighten the front leg. Half splits on the other side. Sometimes I like to wag my tail. I don't know. Sometimes I like to do little cat-cows. Preparing to make this an active stretch. So bringing in some work here. Grab onto the blocks, press into the blocks, and maybe even round, protract the shoulders or round the upper spine to lift the front heel. Using our hip flexors, we sustain this or we lift and lower, whatever you can do here, for 3, 2, 1. Bring that front heel down. Go back into a low lunge. Okay, bring that back foot back. Back into a tabletop position. Shoulders over wrists and hips over knees. Lift and extend the right leg behind you. Keep the right hip squared towards the mat. Try not to open the right hip over the left, yeah? Okay. Now once you're here, cross, bend that back leg, point, try to tap the toes to the sky. Using your right glute to make that happen. Try to touch the sky with your toe, but keep that right hip squared for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cross the right knee behind the left knee. Sit your sit bones back by pressing into the palms. Child's pose variation. This may look very different in your body. That's okay. We're here for a moment. And then on the next inhale, we rise. Come back, extend the leg behind. Now go into the puppy peeing on a fire hydrant situation. Tap the right knee to the right tricep or maybe even the right elbow. And then same thing. We're going, extending it behind us and then crossing it behind that knee. We're gonna do this motion, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. Not going too slow, not going too fast. Nice. Usually, you really trying to use that glute to make this pose look pretty, if that makes sense. Nice. When you're done with it, we switch to the other side. So lift and extend the left leg behind you. Press into the palms, lift out of the shoulders. Look between the hands. Activate the left glute to pulse the toes to the sky. So we're bending that back knee, tapping the sky with our big toe for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, cross the knee behind the other. Sit your sit bones down. Child's pose. Now we get on out of it. Doing the same motion of tapping the knee to the elbow, puppy peeing on a fire hydrant, tapping the toes to the sky, crossing the knee behind the other. 3 or 4 times. Nice. Beautiful. I wonder how many times I can say beautiful in this class. Okay. Go back to a tabletop. Let's get into Vajrasana, thunderbolt pose. Now, some people like to stand on their knees when they're doing shoulder flossing or stand on their feet. And that's totally okay, whatever your body is calling for you today. But if you have a yoga strap, grab onto the buckle so it doesn't whack you in the face. Reach your arms up and over. If you want to integrate a little ankle stretch at the same time, flip your toes under and sit on your heels. But we're here bringing some awareness to the shoulder girdle here because this is a hips and shoulders class. Okay, if this is too easy, please narrow the grip. Your arms are staying straight. So extended arms, don't bend the elbows, and try to make it a really steady movement, not swinging or moving your torso. Narrow the grip even more if it's too easy. But eventually you want to narrow your grip so much that you can't bring it over. And when you're there, beautiful. Find your edge. So do a little pulsing without flaring the ribs open and flicking the tailbone to the sky. We're exhaling, cinching the low ribs to the hip bones, and we're pulsing the hips up or the shoulders up. Finding our edge here. If you're making an expression in the face, it's too much. So back off a little bit and then find your edge, pulsing for 5, 4, keeping the arms straight, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Release the strap for a moment. Rest your arms by your side. Maybe you need to untuck the toes if you haven't already. If you want to do a little quick counter stretch for the ankles, lift the knees, lean back slightly, keep the tops of the feet down. Heart shines forward. Maybe you add a little balance by placing one or both hands on the thighs. But this is just a lovely counter stretch for the ankles here, the tops of the ankles, feet, and toes. All right, now that you did that, let's focus more on the shoulders. So we're gonna do one shoulder at a time here. Go back into the Vajrasana pose with the thighs hugging together. You're sitting your sit bones on your glutes. Now have it on a taller setting. So I like to grab onto the buckle and then plant your hand down on top of the strap, right by your right hip. So right palm on the strap by your right hip. Reach and extend the arm up and over. So you're really just focusing on the left shoulder here, shining the heart to the sky, and then closing the heart towards the earth. Sometimes I like to integrate breath, always actually. Inhale, look up. Exhale, close the ribs. If it's too easy, or if you want to try something different, change the length, maybe narrow the length. Feeling your armpit really open up here. For 5, 4, keeping that arm up, it's extended, so the elbow tries to stay straight. 2, and 1. Beautiful. There, I said it again. Other side. Okay. So yeah, if you have some sort of like rotator cuff issue, or like one is a little more tricky than the other to warm up, you're gonna notice through this kind of warm up. You're gonna see, oh wow, that doesn't feel very good. I'm gonna back off there. Or wow, I feel really open in this side. Okay, nice. Once that feels good, last thing with the strap. Last thing with the strap in this position, we're gonna do one more thing with the strap after this. Okay, reach your arms up above you, and then just go side to side, stretching the side core, the love handle area. For some reason, this motion stretches apart in my love handle area, low back, side body, that I can't really find in any other stretch. So enjoy, as I am, until eventually we're laying on our belly, okay? We're laying on our belly, but we still have our strap in our hands. Okay, listen carefully and follow along. Legs are together or apart. Press the pubic bone down. So we're going in, if you want to place a little mat underneath your hips or your pubic bone, I usually like to do that because it hurts my bones. So the idea here, if you want to look and see what I'm doing, you're reaching your arms up and you're placing your strap in your hands, and you root down on one palm on the other, and then you lift and extend the other. So it's this idea of lift and extend and open and then close. The hip stays down. So this may feel super weird, which is totally fine. That just means your body is not used to this kind of motion. But you reach your arms overhead, find the sweet spot, bring it up, bringing up the right chest as you reach the right arm up. Reach the left arm up, bringing up the left side of the chest. See how that feels. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you throw this one away. That's how I feel about every class I take. Press your palms underneath your shoulders and lift your way up. That's really how I feel about every yoga class. Like usually I come away with something. It could be something big or small, but okay, let's go into frog pose. So we've done a lot of active, well, a little bit of active stretching as far as external rotation of the hips. Let's do a little bit of passive and active. So PNF stretching, proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. It's the idea, well, first let me explain this. Separate the legs. The legs are kind of like a frog, so 90-degree angle with both legs. The ankles are in line with the knees are in line with the hips. Now you doesn't have to stay that way. Your feet can be flexed or pointed. You can activate the glutes, activate one or the other, flick the tailbone to the sky, and then root it down. Really, you're just trying to find comfort in this really uncomfortable pose. It may feel uncomfortable for you. It took me quite a long time to get used to this pose. But yeah, PNF stretching, it's the idea of activating your muscles and then relaxing. So that is something that I've really enjoyed integrating into my everyday practice. I used to feel a lot of pain after yoga. And when I started to integrate PNF stretching, mostly when I started to integrate, we're here for about 30 more seconds. If you're feeling like, oh my God, how long are we gonna stay here? 30 more seconds. But when you start to integrate your muscles in deep, deep flexibility, deep back bends, deep hip opening, deep shoulder mobility, it allows for more space to be created. So, and it also, if you're hypermobile, there's a lot of ways you can start to ease out of frog right now. Slow, slow, slow is better. Yeah, there's a lot of, I lost my train of thought. I could talk for forever about this concept. Okay. All right. We are going to move on. Last 10 minutes of class. Okay, back in Vajrasana pose. Sitting down on your heels, reach your arms up. The palms are facing forward. On the exhale, you close your ribs in, almost like you're doing a cat pose, a mad cat. This is really dramatic too. You're tucking your chin, your palms are facing forward and maybe down, your shoulders are near your ears, and you're looking at your belly. Inhale the opposite cow. Reach your arms up. Palms are still facing forward, maybe up. Look up. Flick the tailbone. Lengthen the belly. Contract the back body. Exhale, opposite. So it's this cat-cow motion. Audible exhale if you'd like. At the same time, we're reaching our arms up. It can be quite challenging. 5 more. 4, use your eyes as a tool. 3, 2, reach the whole time. 1. Beautiful. Hands on your knees or thighs in front of you. Reach your arms in front of you, forehead to the mat, a moment of child's pose. In this pose, can you try to bring your armpits closer to the mat? Notice what that does to your body, to the back of your ribs, the side ribs. On the next inhale, rise. Okay, last thing for the shoulders here. We're gonna do arm circles. So if you wanna stand up, you can. I'm not gonna stand up because of the framing of this setup. But you're standing on your knees or you're standing on your feet. You're close to a wall. Okay, somewhat close. You're gonna have to test and see where you're at. You're gonna have to measure what works. But if you're too close to the wall, you'll hit it. The left hand goes on the right shoulder or the right ribs or just somewhere. So somewhere on your body, start to sway your arm extended, whichever direction is calling to you. So the hand on the body is to remind you to not move the body in a crazy way. Once you feel this motion, you're like, I can stand closer to the wall. Go closer to the wall. You can go slow or fast, whatever you want. But really trying not to sway the body like this, you see? No, more like this. Once you start to feel, okay, it's kind of feeling like some fire in my right shoulder, reverse the motion. Ooh, that wind feels so nice. We're here for 3, 2, 1. Other side. So yeah, this is like one of my favorite ways to warm up my shoulder and start to integrate overhead flexion when it comes to handstands, forearm stands, hollow backs, all of that stuff. Reverse the motion. Nice. All right, we're gonna end class laying on our back, but we're gonna use our strap. So listen and follow along. Lay down on your back. Try to make all parts of your back touch. So sometimes I have to lift up, tuck my tailbone, and try to bring my low back closer to the mat. Grab your strap and place the strap on the bottom of your right foot. Okay, make sure you grab that metal part so it doesn't whack you. Okay, the left leg can either be, the sole of the foot can be rooted and bent, and your leg can be bent, or you can extend your leg, whatever feels good. What we're doing is we're gonna create some friction on the bottom of our feet. So start to touch all parts of the foot with the strap. If you wanna go faster, you can with creating a little bit of fire, heat. Maybe press the ball of your foot into the strap or the heel until eventually we stop doing that, right? And then we grab onto the strap and start to bring the foot closer to the face, but not like really pulling it. We're just finding that tension, the edge, and then eventually we just move the foot to the right. So the foot, I'm looking at the foot in front of me, at the sky, and then I kind of like bring it to the right while I'm pressing my foot into the strap, while I'm pulling the strap. When you bring it to the right next time, see if you can press into the big thumb mound into the strap. The big toe thumb mound, press it into the strap. Notice the difference. Now press the pinky toe mound into the strap. So really rotating the foot in different ways. Nice. Bring the foot overhead or over your body, and then do it the other way. Try to bring your foot towards the left, the right foot towards the left side of the mat. See how that feels. Try to keep that right hip down. Now drive down to the pinky side edge of that foot. Drive down through the big thumb mound edge of that foot. Nice. Once that feels good, release the strap. Keep that foot lifted up there. Ground down through the left sole of the foot. So bend the left foot if it isn't bent and ground down. Keep the right foot lifted, going into a bridge pose. So the palms, press down to the palms and to the feet. Lift the hips up with that left leg extended. It can bend if you'd like. I'm gonna keep mine extended. 5, just like that. Root down and lift. 4, activate the left glute. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, lower the hips. Bring that right foot down. Grab the strap, other side. So starting with this motion of using the strap to really create friction, the bottom of the foot. But once you have that down, start to use the strength of your arms to pull your foot towards you in a really slow, conscious way. This is the last part of class, so we really don't want to, I mean, if you want to push it, you can. Like, this is just a 30-minute class. Just listen to the body, see how it feels, till eventually we bring the left foot to the left side of us, externally rotating that hip. And then we bring it overhead and to the side. Once you feel like you've got that down, start to integrate the rotating of the foot. Really slowly, pressing into the big thumb mound as your foot is outside of your left ear or outside of the left side of your body, and then press into the pinky side. Oh man, I hope no foot fetish people watch this, because you know they're gonna be so about it. Oh, it's so funny. Okay, the foot goes to the other side of your body, so internally rotating the left hip. At the same time, maybe we want to hook that left hip, try to guide it down towards the mat. And then the same thing, rotating the foot, seeing how that feels, seeing how much different the stretch is, how it activates different parts of your calf, your shin. Okay, last somewhat hard thing of class. Keep that left leg extended above you. Release the strap. Bend the right knee if it's not bent, and root that sole, the right sole of the foot down. Press down to the palms, the arms, and the right sole of the foot to lift the hips up and lower. Up and lower. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Okay. Before we end class, we'll do a little twist. So bend the knees, soles of the feet are rooted down on the mat. Now bring your right knee in and cross it over your left knee until eventually we guide the right knee that's crossed over the left knee over to the left side of the mat. A nice reclined twist. Adjust as needed. Sometimes I need to adjust my hips more to the right side of the mat. So this is like lady legs. You don't have to do this. You can release the lady legs and just do a regular reclined twist. 3, 2, 1. Release. Change sides. Eventually, we find yourself in final Shavasana. I like to keep the soles of my feet together. Well, I like to have butterfly legs, so the soles of the feet aren't really together. Making sure the tailbone is kind of rooted down so the low back can touch the mat. I splay my arms. So whatever variation you want to do, dead man's pose, big starfish. If you want to use your props underneath any part of your body, maybe your hips, maybe your shoulders. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Take as much time as you need to end this class, to end this practice.